Yo, yo, welcome to the No Limit Podcast, also known as the Hoes Giving Topcast, because we're also known as the No Limit Podcast. Here with not two, but three pretty ass white dudes. Any Ball and the final boss, No Limit Eddie. Our guest, he's a tan guy, but he is a white dude, I promise. Huncho Myers, upcoming streamer out of South Philadelphia, streaming each and every type of game you might want to watch on Twitch. What's up, Huncho?
What up, Ed? What up, Dan?
What's going on, bro? How are you?
Now, I'm saying what's up, Huncho, but I also know you as Dylan because I know you my whole life.
Yeah, anybody who knew me before Huncho could call me Dylan.
Yeah. Or Schmanek.
Yeah.
Shamanic
was a
The
4-year
full
run.
government's out there.
I would compare it to like comic book runs, right? Like every couple years, I got like 4 years of like one name, and then I go by another name, and then somebody gives me a different nickname.
I like Huncho though. I think Huncho.
Yeah, Huncho. I think that's like
Huncho's
the one.
a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good name.
Huncho Myers as a whole is great.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are going to get into tonight a lot of things that you've been associated with the podcast already. A lot of times, you've had personal connections to things that have come across. One that we didn't talk about pre-pod is that when we had Jet Mile on the podcast, we talked about Michael Myers. My guess for who Myers is in his videos was you, and I was wrong.
Nah, you know who it was? It was Greg Laser.
He's
Really?
Myers?
What?
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
That is.
That's crazy. I don't know how tall he is, and Myers
He's like
looks
5'11".
legit.
Yeah, he's like my height.
But the
actually.
Myers in his videos looks like a 6 foot something dude, but you are.
Yeah. No, for sure. He looks bigger. But I think like Jake Johnson, which is like Nick Johnson, who was on the podcast before, his little brother was filming them at the time, so he probably could have aspect ratioed it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. He told me that. Oh, is that Delphi Jake on Instagram?
Yeah, he's got
Shout
his
out
own-
him. He likes all our content.
Yeah, he's
Shout
got
out
his own
Delphi Jake.
clothing line and shit like that.
Hell yeah.
So that's who shoots for Jet.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Speaking of bigger,
Jet
I think,
Mile, fucking hilarious. Shout out you, my boy. You'll be back.
Catch that episode. I think that you beat Tim Foyle for the biggest podcast guest. I think Tim Foyle was the biggest guest to date, and I think now he's got him beat.
We had Tim Foyle. He walked in. We didn't never see this kid before. I thought he was going to be like 5'11", like
Yeah.
you just said. Dude, he came in. He was like 6'5".
We're like, what
Really?
the fuck? Yeah.
With a girl who was like 6 foot herself.
Yeah,
That's insane.
We're like, man, what are they drinking out in California?
Nah.
Yeah.
What are you though? Like 6 what?
6'5".
6'5".
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Big
think he was
Huncho.
6'3". I think he was 6'3", 10.
I'm a legit 6'5". Like it's like either 4 3/4 or like exactly 6'5".
6'5" on a good day.
Yeah, I think my license says 6'5", so we're
Definitely a
chilling.
We're going with
neighborhood.
that.
Yeah.
Definitely a neighborhood basketball league power forward.
Yeah. Nah, I had some good games. I was a under like low key good athlete in like mostly anything.
You were nice at basketball.
Yeah,
to be
I was
honest.
decent. I wasn't like good enough to make a team or nothing because like. I
And
didn't
with the
play ball like
DCX
that.
podcast, we talked about your football skills.
Yeah,
I do
was
want to.
better at that. Honestly, I'm sick that I only played 1 year. I was pretty good football player.
I do want to hear
I
that
was
story
actually
later
wondering.
on, but I don't want to give it up yet because we got to get into the main meat here.
All right.
Let's talk about your stream. Huncho Myers streaming daily, right?
Well, see, I haven't been recently, so like, had some personal shit. I need to take some time off or whatever.
Right.
And I kind of been fed up with like streaming COD all the time. So it's like, I kind of was like planning, like you content create, so you want to like map out kind of like your next 6 months, what that looks like for you. And it was like, I don't want to do Call of Duty no more. So I'm actually gonna pivot now.
Is there a reason you don't want to do Call of Duty anymore? Like, is it just like getting repetitive for you?
It's not that it's repetitive. The game, the company itself, they don't care about the game. They just throw anything out there. Like, they don't give a shit. They just got bought too. Maybe it'll be better in the long run, right?
They did just get bought.
It might be better in the long run. And I'm not going to stop playing. I'm just going to play.
They got
like,
bought by
on the
Microsoft,
side.
right?
Yeah, $70 billion.
So do you
Wow.
think that game's only going to be on Xbox now?
Nah, there's no.
Nah. It's impossible. They make too much money on every platform.
Yeah.
I think I think the one console shit is really coming to an end. Like,
I think so,
there's gonna
too.
be no like MLB The Show is on both now. Like, they're
Yeah.
gonna really start cutting that shit out.
They said that PlayStation.
You'll get
5,
like them. You'll get like them story mode games. That's it.
I
That'll be
think
like.
PlayStation 5. They said is going to outsell Xbox Series X 2-1 still this year. It's
Yeah.
like people still majority play on PlayStation.
So,
You know
but
what I mean?
when you were streaming heavy, your main game was COD.
Yeah,
As of late, right?
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
you
I
likes
play-
the shit at COD. There's a lot
Yeah,
of videos. I'm like,
nah.
God damn, I shared a lot of those. They're really impressive as hell.
You had to get me on the right side. Like, just take me up.
It's not a good idea, bro. Hold on.
Nah, so I would say it's like this, right? I was getting like decent viewership, right? Like good for like a startup or whatever. Like I've accomplished a lot in like 2 years of streaming. Like it takes people a lot of years to do some of the shit that I did already. Like,
to get off that one viewer
Yeah.
list, right?
Yeah.
so it's like I grinded for it or whatever. Like there was a time when I was streaming like 210, 220 hours a month, like for like a year and a half straight of Call of Duty. Like, and I was the skill level, like at one point, like I got to the point where like everybody's gun skill is the same amount, right? So it's just like, how do you perform on this given day, like on whatever? You get invited to a couple tournaments. I played Twitch Rivals twice. It's like a Twitch held tournament.
I watched that one, yeah.
Yeah, so like, it is what it is. Like we didn't make it to the main event, but you're still on that first event, which is all pros. Some pros who are
And
like,
you're talking
not as
Warzone,
big.
right?
Yeah,
Just
straight
to get
Warzone.
right
I never
on it.
played that multiplayer shit. I think that shit's corny. But like the Warzone shit, I like. I like BRs in general. Like that's my shit. I played Apex for a little bit. I'm pretty good at Apex too. But like that, I just didn't want to main. I don't think an FPS game. I don't want to be like a sweat anymore, like a competitive player.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You get to a certain level and it's just like you want to get more viewers and shit. Like
Yeah, you're more
playing,
focused on quality streaming.
Yeah, I'm on CMG every night, like playing like paying $7.50 for like a tournament, playing for 4 hours. These dudes are wall hacking, like it's so
Yeah.
frustrating. Like you never know or whatever, and you win a few, and like at the end of the day, you wound up like breaking even, or you make a couple hours here and there, and like your stream's good, so like the subscriber shit's good. And you can get like a couple dollars here and
Yeah.
there. Maybe every other month you're getting like a $250 check. That's nice though. Like in the
Just
long
has a
run.
little something extra, you
Sure,
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You work on the side or whatever.
But
it
when
is.
you
For
build-
doing what you want to do, right? Like that's like your passion, it's your dream. You want to be a streamer, right?
Yeah.
So like to make money on it is.
But when you build that
regardless cool
stream
as
to monster levels, that's where the real
yeah,
money's
well,
at.
that's what you got to. That's what I've thought about.
And that's what you're looking
And
at.
that's why I'm trying to
I've
pivot.
built like a little like basic thing, right? Like I've got a resume now of things I've done. I was 2K, NBA 2K. I was like a pro level player in that before. I didn't really stream. I streamed a little bit. Like I had my Twitch account for a long time.
Yeah.
That's why I had like a bunch of followers already. So it was easier for me to hit affiliate right away or whatever to get them subscriber button. But
Yeah.
like I've been pro basically at pro level at 2 different games now. Like I've been a sweat. Some of the kids you got to deal with, you don't want to deal with them all the time. Like they're just toxic people. Like
Now, a sweat, though, for the common viewer, tell everybody what a sweat is in a game.
it's just like
setting.
somebody who tries really hard at like a game, or you're like really good at a game. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm coming here and like I don't take like plays off. Like I ain't having fun. Like I'm here to do business
Yeah.
basically.
And it
That's
comes from having sweaty hands on the controller, right?
Yeah. I don't have sweaty. That's what it is. But I actually
Dude,
my hands
get sweaty as hell.
Nah, I'm not a sweater.
Me and Danny's
That-
Madden games get
Bro, they
fucking
get
intense.
heated, bro.
Like this is some crazy shit. Like you would think like when it's hot outside or whatever, like I don't just sweat to sweat. Like if I'm like being like athletic or doing some sports, we're like anything like that, I'll sweat. But I don't sweat sitting here or like playing the game, like nothing like that. Like I don't know why. It's just never like a big sweater. It's wild.
I
Actually.
like how we still have PTSD from that one episode where we didn't
I
catch
know,
it.
dude. We have such PTSD for
When
the
the camera
for the
went
video watchers. One time the camera went out, dude. I check it every episode. It's like the fucking
have a
burners
guest
when
too,
you're
it's-
leaving the
yeah,
house.
If you have a
there's
guest
one-
too, it's the worst because
Yeah,
it's not like
you
you can be
can't
like, all right,
capture
fuck it,
that.
we'll hit a home run again or whatever. But like if you have a guest, like he ain't gonna come out again. Or if you do it online, it's just a
Yeah.
different type vibe.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. It's scary.
Dude, the Sabu episode when we had Sabu, we had him on Zoom, and we had never done a podcast on Zoom before. I was so fucking scared we were gonna fuck that up.
First Instant Beef on the Board podcast. on Zoom.
Zoom is pretty decent though, like to use and record. Like it's
Sure.
not that bad. Like and you could transfer the file pretty quick.
But
so.
like we
Yeah, it
literally
did. It
If it's-
actually
if you
turned out
have
great.
to.
It actually
Yeah,
turned
if
out
you have
great.
to do it, it's not bad.
we had Sabu on this podcast.
I know. If you
Sabu
could've-
was a guest on this podcast. If we actually had him in the podcast,
Homicidal,
that would have
suicidal,
been
genocide.
that would have been way cool.
Can you imagine him like right behind the arena where he was doing backflips at all them
Exactly.
years
It
ago?
would have
Like
been
dead
great.
ass.
It would have been great, dude.
Yeah, we actually were working that out with him. It was just going to end up costing too much to bring him here just for that small appearance. But shout out to Sabu because Game Changer Wrestling. I'm getting very niche wrestling on you again. So if you hate wrestling, shut it off. Game Changer Wrestling, new up and coming brand, sort of like what ECW was back in the early 2000s. Like they just sold out the Hammerstein Ballroom last night. Sabu was there, hit somebody in the face with a chair.
And shout out Sabu, friend of the podcast. That's our guy. So shout out Sabu.
He did share our last episode.
He
Shout out
did
him.
share our last episode. Thank you, Sabu. I appreciate
You know what's crazy is your last week's episode, right? My cousin was one of the Royal Revival members, Trent Acid or whatever.
Yes.
I think he wrestled Sabu too.
Yeah,
back in the day.
give everybody a little
Yeah,
refresher
dude,
on
that's
who
crazy.
he is.
'Cause we just found this out.
So my cousin Trent Acid, he was a wrestler. He started wrestling professionally at 14 or whatever. And he was like the #1 independent wrestler in the world at the time. Like
Definitely
when he
was
died.
too. That's no cap.
He was in Japan. Like he was like a superstar in Japan. Like he's like what they looked at him as like a WWE type wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like he had that big a fandom in Japan. He was in Italy, all across Europe wrestling. He wrestled here, and then what you guys were talking about, what was it?
PWU.
PWU, yeah.
We just got this fire DVD from
Yeah.
Huncho.
Shout out.
So
Yeah.
Show it in the can.
So actually, when they started this company or whatever, he was like the centerpiece for it. You know, it was in his hometown. He was the big star. He was the #1 independent wrestler on the scene. Like, there's a YouTube video of the Dudley Boys 3D and him on Saturday Night Heat. At one point, he wrestled Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was like, he kind of took Seth Rollins under his wing a little bit because he was a pro at 14.
Seth Rollins
Yeah.
was doing the job for him. You said.
Yeah. They had a promo. There's a promo cut. You got to find it on YouTube. It's like one of them low keys. Like you might have to scroll a couple pages, but it's underneath this bridge with Seth Rollins, and he's talking about Trent Acid. I guess they're about to have a
Really?
match. Yeah.
Trent was someone I watched actually early on when I got old CZW Best of the Best tapes. Trent was on there as part of the Backseat Boys, and even in Ring of Honor, he was a former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion.
Only 29. Like he would have been whatever he wanted to be in the long run.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? He could have been like. I mean, look what Seth Rollins is now. For real.
Hey,
That
bro,
was-
Japan loves wrestling. Bro.
That's
They
what
take that shit.
Yo,
like,
he didn't even want to
serious,
be
like,
in the WWE long time. He wanted to have like lifetime like Japan. Like that's where he wanted to be at type shit.
Dude, Japan's
He had the
huge.
mentality that a lot of these wrestlers today have with the ability to be independent and work for a bunch of different companies.
Yeah.
Now that there's things like AEW, GCW,
Yeah, you
New
can kind of say he
Japan,
was
all
like
that.
a kind of ahead of the current curve.
There's
like,
not a monopoly. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
he was.
kinda,
He
yeah.
really was, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like he's a big name in wrestling still to this day. He's got the Hall of Fame banner in the arena. It hangs up over there. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's
we,
like one of them legit dudes. You got Sandman on there. You got all them ECW dudes up there, and he's up there too. So, if you're a legend in Philadelphia, like this is like honestly like one of the biggest
One of the
hubs
biggest towns
of
of
wrestling.
wrestling, yep.
Gigantic. I mean,
Yeah.
like to this day, like my friends and I still talk about Trent Acid, like in matches we've seen. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like I had no idea he was your cousin. Like I had no idea. You know, it's just a
I
guy
actually had no idea he was on Heat.
Yeah, he was. No, there's
That
a
he was
bit.
associated with WWE.
You gotta watch. You gotta like try and find Backseat Boys. They didn't go by Backseat Boys, right? That was like their tag team name back in the day. Or
Who
whatever.
was that? Him and who?
I forget his name actually.
I do remember that team though.
So it was him. It was him and his whatever the other dude name was that he was wrestling with at the time, and they got 3D by the Dudley Boys on Saturday Night Heat, and you can find that on YouTube somewhere. But that's like another like deep cut. Like you got to be some investigative shit.
You gotta hit the third page on YouTube.
Yeah, you got to scroll a little bit, but you can find that video too. Actually,
You ever look up Huncho Myers on Google?
yeah,
Does it come
actually,
right
so
up?
Huncho. If you Google Huncho
They
Myers,
have, like,
all my
websites and stuff too.
yeah, my Twitch comes up, all that shit comes up, but also like a Twitch Rivals thing. It's like a player card, basically, like on if you've played a Twitch Rivals event before, and it tells you how many events they competed in and which events they were in or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can find that too.
It's almost like a thing like in poker they have a thing called Hendon Mob.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look up players' names on that, it'll show like every tournament they ever cashed in and like that.
There's
type of
another
stuff. So
website
it's
like that too. Like if you've made money, like you're on that list of earnings for all time.
Do you know
or
who's the
whatever.
#1 earning all time in COD?
At one point it was Huskers and Jukies and Aiden were like the top three. I think I don't. They all switched like based on whatever tournament's next. So
Yeah.
like those are the top three. I would say.
And they
though.
played together?
Nah, none of them played together, I don't think. Huskers played with Symphony, who's like top 6 or whatever, and then Aiden was with Rated, who's another one who's like top 6, and then I'm trying to think of the other one. I forget the other one's duo. But yeah, they're all like they play with different people too. And
So-
sometimes you gotta play co-ed tournaments. Like you're not always with the same person, so
Yeah.
you might hit like a quick like 50K on another tournament somewhere.
Gotcha. So now that you're name dropping a little bit, though, tell us a little bit of your stream influences. Who influenced you to really start up streaming seriously?
It was just like honestly like quarantine hit a little bit, right? I was like, fuck it. I've always been playing video games like at a professional level basically for the last couple years, whether it was 2K or COD, like Blackout, whatever the other games I were playing, like I got pretty good at them. And like I was just like I used to make YouTube videos back in the day in like '08, like I would hold my phone up to the screen as a young buck.
And that was the 2K videos.
No, those were like COD video, like Modern Warfare
Yeah.
2 type videos, dog. Like when we were like 10 years old, like I was like a squeaker with my phone up against this big. It's not even an HD TV, dead ass. It's like an old Like them
A square John,
the heavy
Panasonic.
ass, the big ass. No, it was definitely a Panasonic heavy ass John. Like, you can't carry that John by yourself.
Panasonic was the only like TV manufacturer.
Yeah, people don't remember how heavy those TVs
Yo,
used to be.
Dude, you know
Today-
what's crazy? Like some kids, like legit, probably never even seen. Like there's like probably
Got
some,
no
like,
clue.
8-year-old kids that have no clue what that is.
Not
That's
a
why I
clue.
used to play video games. I always play video games on like a disadvantage too. Like that's a big thing. Like your
Yeah.
setup is a big thing, bro. Like,
Definitely is, especially now with the FPS shit you talked about earlier, which is frames
That's
per
when I
second.
really started
If
to
you buy a
switch.
better monitor than somebody, you got better frames per 2nd than the guy you're playing against.
And now
If
everyone's
you
got
have
fucking
better
headphones.
internet connection, then you have quicker what's that called? Quicker ping than the
Yeah.
guy that you're playing against. Technology has
Field
come
of
into
view is a
gaming
big
a lot.
thing now on the computer. You could see more of the place. So like if
you
you
get a
play on
curved
your
screen-
console, you're looking
You're
at
locked.
this, right? I'm looking at this. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing you before you see me type shit. Like it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like it's really crazy. You need it really
That's
bad.
why these dudes are always fucking me up in COD.
Yeah.
Yo, I'll tell you what.
Dude, COD people have played so much. It's like how Fortnite got. Everybody can watch YouTube now. Everybody can watch Twitch now. If you want to get, like, some people are just more of us. Some of us are just more gifted than others. Like that is what it is,
Fuck
or whatever.
Fortnite.
But if you played something enough and you wanted to get good at it, and you were hand-eye coordinated enough, and like had a good enough game sense, it's called. You could do whatever you want in a video game.
How do you feel
now.
about
You
Fortnite?
could. I had fun on Fortnite the first couple years. Like,
Yeah,
You
so
never
did I.
streamed it?
Nah, I never streamed it. I never even played it competitively. I was never in creative. It was like one of them things where I just logged on every day. I would play all day and have fun. Like,
I had to, and that shit would make my fucking hands sweat. Like I'd be
Yeah.
like in the final three. I'm like, God, like,
I've seen
my
those
shit was
videos,
like,
dude. That's like whenever Fortnite first came out. I'm probably gonna get the year wrong, but like it's like POV. It's 2019. You're camping in a building. There's 5 people left, and your heart's beating through your chest.
Bro, it really would get like that, bro.
It would.
Especially when it was like
it's
brand
intense.
new.
Nah,
Yeah.
them games are intense.
But now,
dude.
like it's like there's bots. Like it's so.
I don't
stupid
even
now,
want to win
dude.
anymore when I play Battle. I've won so many games. Like I
Yeah.
had like 500 on Fortnite. I had like another 400 on Blackout. I had another 100 something on Apex, and I got 700
Jesus
on Warzone.
Christ.
We're talking about like I have 2,000 wins across.
I've
like,
never
these
won a
games.
game.
And
Apex.
you
I know
came
it.
to realize that even with that level of skill, as far as becoming a poppin' streamer, it's more about the entertainment
Yeah, it's more
and
about
the
the
quality
content,
of your
bro.
stream.
Yeah, so you said you're gonna start
And COD,
pivoting.
yeah, because COD makes me miserable. Honestly, like
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
an
that.
entertaining person. Like use like to be like be around me. If you see me out or whatever, like
Yeah, cool,
I'm
dude.
a fun person to be around or whatever.
Yeah.
COD makes me so not that person anymore. So it's like if I can play it here and there,
Start to
it's
feel
fine.
like it's a job.
Yeah, if I can play it here and there, it's fine. But like it's like a mentally abusive girlfriend, that game. Like they don't care about the game. Like you get fucked. There's a bunch of cheaters. Like you can't take that game seriously, bro. Like you got to really focus on your content. So the GTA role playing shit, I think, is like the next wave for me because right now it's like the most like popping thing, like the up and coming thing. Like people love watching it. And it's basically just acting. Like
Yeah.
you're just a character on a GTA game. I'm gonna play COD on the side here and there because I like to play COD, but like I really want to start getting into like kind of more creative type shit with my game and not just like me monotonously playing a video game type shit.
I think you're making the right move, by the way, and I cannot believe, by the way, just how fucking popular GTA 5 is.
Dude,
Like
Out
that
of
game-
nowhere. That
but it's
game's
because
been
of
out
my-
for so long.
It's almost 10 years old.
So you guys know JoJo Viz, right? So,
Yeah.
So he plays GTA RP, and he actually streams too, like on the low key shit. He don't really advertise or whatever, but he owns his own role playing server. And role playing like actually is like that's what I'm gonna play on now too. Like that's my server basically to play on. But like he has his own thing. Like it's crazy that role playing has extended GTA 5's life to the point where they haven't even put one out yet.
Yeah.
And they don't even work for the company. You know, it's like people who are just doing internet shit wanted to make the game more fun. So it's like this game has survived for 10 years.
Now,
It's not
having
even
your own
close to
role
being
playing
done.
server just means that you kind of set up who the characters
they
in
have
the
like a
server
staff.
are.
They have a staff and everything. So like they write the code for the server and shit like that because you have to put new things in the game. So it's not like you're just playing GTA. Like you can get specific cars made. They make specific clothing for it. So like there's another one that's called like No Pixel. That all the bigger streamers are on, right? Like XQC and all them dudes are getting 100,000 views and shit like that. But like all these servers.
And then
are,
how do you get into something like that?
some people they'll invite you or whatever. Like if you stream, you have an audience. They want you to play on their server for like the whatever it is. You could also just pay a certain amount, or like for a membership, but you could play without it. But the thing is, you can only have a certain amount of people on the server, right? So the people who are paying are going to get in this, like there's going to be a queue, and they're going to get in before you will. You know what I'm saying? And you don't feel like you're wasting your money either, because like these people are giving you so much. It's like it's everything COD's not like that is what.
And
like,
also as a
GTA
streamer,
RP
it's kind
is
of an
for you.
investment, because you could stream. Oh, I'm in this big. What's that guy's name? XQC or something.
Yeah, you could say I'm in the same
his
server.
Yeah, I'm in his server.
And
so
like
it
if
could
you
get
interact with
views.
him, right, and say there's a really funny interaction with him, and like you guys are just acting, you don't know it's him, right? Like
That's
you
a
just,
fire clip.
yeah. And you blow up or whatever, you get a
So,
couple 100,000 views or whatever on the video.
I don't know what it is technically. I'm sure some of the audience doesn't know. Like, what is the GTA roleplay? I'm not familiar with it.
So like it's just all right. So the people who run the server, you need people to write code like that. At the end of the day, you're altering the game, modifying.
And the base
game.
of it is
So you're
it's
playing on
GTA Online. That's the
acting,
base.
yeah.
It's GTA
Right, and
Online.
I'm sure
And these
most people
people
understand what
add in-
GTA Online is at this point.
So they add in all this shit, right?
And you're playing PC, right?
Yeah, they add in all this shit, different clothes, different cars, like different other things. You get a job, right? You can apply for jobs. There's court.
The
people
ones
are
you always see are
judges.
people being
It's like-
cops, pulling people
it's like
over.
it's like real life acting. Like you're basically acting in GTA.
A lot of them
you
join-
live it. You live this life basically.
A lot of them that I've seen is like they join a gang, and then you just roll around with your gang, look for other gang members, like real simple ones like that.
Crazy what
Like
you can do
popping,
with these games.
like
No, but-
rappers that are like in that weird realm where like if they have a
T.
couple
Grizzly
bad
has
years,
one,
yeah,
too.
like if they have a couple bad years, they're gonna get forgot about, but they are on a level where if they have a few good years, they could be popping. Those type of rappers, they all play GTA roleplay and are gang members.
That's it.
Real shit.
That's the best thing, because like now there's a bunch of options, right, for like different places you could play at, and like everything's got a little different thing here or there, and like some are more serious, and other like you could really find like your vibe really basically for that game. Like you don't have to do one thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to go play wagers like for 7 hours. Like I can just go do whatever I want. Like it's way better experience for yourself as a person. Like you need to be happy with what you're doing.
It's all about what somebody's
yeah.
going to
Content
tune into.
suffers.
Yep.
It's all about what somebody's going to tune into. For
Yeah.
you. It
You're-
doesn't matter. You don't have
you're
a
not
fucking
happy either, like-
attachment to Call of Duty. If you get people to tune in on GTA RP, that's what you're going to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I said, if you're like miserable playing Call of Duty,
You don't
your
want to
energy's
watch.
gonna.
You don't want to
you're
watch
gonna
me
feed
be
off of that.
miserable. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You won't. If you're not watching, there's a bunch of people who could play the video game as good as I could play the video game. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
whether I'm one of the best 1%, the 1% is a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
It is, yeah.
So you got to have something different. And I am entertaining when I'm not miserable. But if I'm fucking miserable all the time, like you don't want to watch me play the
And who
game.
wants to go to work all day, drive home, eat dinner, sit down, and then tune into a fucking miserable asshole?
Yeah.
like no one's
It's like
doing
you're
that.
watching yourself work. You know what
no
I'm saying?
one's doing
Basically,
that. Like they want to, at the end of the day, you get down and watch, like laugh and like
It
enjoy
depends,
something.
though, because I will say, to play devil's advocate on that, I used to watch a streamer named Exposed. You know who that is?
The
Now
range is
he's-
good,
Now
but-
he's popular now for gambling. I actually stopped paying attention to him when he transitioned from playing COD wagers to just straight up gambling. Like he just online gambles and people watch it, and he makes so much. He makes way enough money to gamble a lot on his stream, so it works out. But when he used to play COD, dude, you were just watching him and this guy Big Red just fucking rage. That's what you were tuning in for.
It's the number one
'Cause
rage
they
game
just
ever.
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
rage their fucking face off, and you could just laugh at it.
That game is rage. Like that is the number one rage-filling game in the world. You
There's
will not
days-
get more angry playing a video game than that video game.
There's
For real.
days that I legitimately cannot play it. I'll sign on, like it's not my day. I'm off.
Bro.
Dude.
Oh, I can't read these kids. They're fucking idiots.
I'm not.
It's
I'm not,
not
I'm
my
not even gonna
day.
attempt. I'm not
These
even
people
gonna
are ridiculous, bro. Like these people who are slide canceling you and then they're shooting you, and if they get lucky and they kill you, they shoot your body like there's somebody. I'm like, dude, you gotta relax. Like,
Yeah.
Like there's somebody.
dude, the best is when there's these people like they get their ego hurt. Like you 1v4 them, right? And then I go to gulag, they get their teammates back, and like they try and kill you again, and you do it again. Or like you get like 3 of them this time, and the last one gets you, and then he shoots your body like he did something good. I'm like, bro, I've literally killed you 8 times now. Like, please get away from me. Like, let me have fun. Like, it ain't fun anymore.
Yeah.
See, like I'm like not good.
And that
at
happens
Call
to
of Duty.
any good player. Like you don't even have to stream it all. Like that happens to any good player, bro. People are like
They'll come back to try
Yeah,
to
they're
get you.
they're out there to just like ruin your day. Skill based matchmaking, it killed having fun on video games for good people who are good at video games. Like just
Because you
straight
only
good.
get put in with other people who are good.
And it's not fun anymore, bro. The randomness is taken out of it. Like I don't want to have to fight me every game, like every single fight that I'm fighting. Like that's not fun.
Feel that.
Yeah.
There's no reward either. Like if
So
you're
are
giving
you
me a
gonna go
reward,
back to 2K?
nah, that
Circling all the way
that
back.
book's closed. That book
No
is
more 2K?
100% closed.
Now you said to me exactly that you were pro in 2K.
So like the pro league that there is.
And I want to hear more name dropping because you said you played against some guys that are now legit pro. In pro leagues that you beat.
All right, so the one couple guys I know or whatever in league, but before that there was this professional league, right? There was always this amateur type tournament, but they didn't have like a professional 2K NBA sponsored league. Like it's all official now. Like it's sponsored by the NBA, all that type of shit. So all of us who were like that top 100 or whatever ranked in the world, all of our teams are the top 30, honestly. Like you really cut out some of the other ones. So we would play in a league for money. Everybody would put bread up, and the winner would get money. And it would be like people would cover it and shit like that. But it would be all independent shit, really. So we played in this league for a couple seasons. We were ranked like top 30 every other year.
You were doing team play?
5-on-5 pro-am. So you make your player or whatever. You get your badges and shit, and you squad up and start playing people like that. So we were pretty good. I'll say this. So,
you had 5 men on a squad. You had 5 team members you were playing with every game.
Yeah.
4 other team members.
4 other team members. Yeah. Always 4 other team members. So it was just straight 5-on-5 shit. It's really fun, honestly. Like, at its peak, it was fun. That community is a little toxic too. Like 2K is a little
2K
bit.
community.
Yeah.
The video game
people like to quit.
Is toxic, honestly.
People like to quit and stuff like that. Like there's this kid, Original Malik. He played in the league for a couple years. I started a team with him at the beginning of one of the years, right? And it was like me and my other boy who's like from Southwest. His name's Mike or whatever. And we were playing at the time, and we were like not feeling it with this kid. And this kid got drafted in the league. He was ranked as like a top 5 shooting guard. And I was just like, dude, I think this kid stinks. Like, if you want me to be honest with you. And we were like, Dan, that's dead. This kid Jackson Potts, I know, he's like still in the league to this day. He plays a lot. He's like kind of like one of the dudes who floats from team to team, but he's a good player in the game. So it's like that was fun for a time, but like I went through shit at the end of that too. Like the month, like literally 3 days before the first, you had like a tryout period, online qualifier or whatever. It was the first one ever. I like wound up getting kicked out of my house and moving out and shit like that. So it was like I never played 2K again. Basically, like I went back and I played like in this like low tier league and I absolutely dominated it. But like I don't want to play it anymore. Like once I'm done with something, I'm done with something.
So right before you were about to get in that, you got kicked out of your house so you couldn't play.
Yeah, I didn't have good enough internet anymore. I was just like, all right, dude, like I'm going through some shit, so it's time to just like be out. Like
Now you couldn't have hit up any of these dudes that were on your team and like played on their setup or anything.
Well, I brought my setup and I had everything like that, but I didn't have good internet anymore. I was just like, when you're going through some shit, sometimes you just like fuck it. Like, you know
especially with it being so close, like 3 days away, you can't really string
and I didn't even
together.
get my setup till after it started really, and like you had to get a certain amount of wins, and like it just wasn't. I couldn't even play really every night. Like I didn't get good internet where I was at for like a couple months in, so it was just like a timing thing. But like things work out for their own reasons, you know. Like I stopped gaming for a little bit.
And that was what year? Because that was way back. What year
I started
was
playing shooters now. Like that was the last one was 2017, I think, was when I stopped. I played another season in 2019, like of another league, but it wasn't serious. I was still playing Warzone actually. Like it was right before I started streaming Warzone. I was just grinding it really.
Yo, before we move on from this basketball game shit, I gotta give him his props. I gotta blow his head up a little bit. Shout out to Big Ed Rem. Heavy gamer himself. More when I was a young bull. He used to be heavy on the PlayStation 2. Back when you had to connect the actual router to the PlayStation 2. If you got a phone call, that shit was going off. But he would play late night, like 2 in the morning to like 6 because he worked at night. Nobody was calling the phone. My man, I gotta give it to him. He was in the top 200 in NBA Live.
Really?
NBA Live, when they would show the rankings,
like
he was.
05?
I woke up in the middle of the night one night as a young bull and watched him beat a guy in the top like 25.
How hyped was he?
I was hyped. Like I'm a young bull watching that. Like let's go. I'm hyped.
Nice.
But shout out to him, blow his head up a little bit, give him his
Shout out
props.
Big Ed.
Being good at NBA Live.
Video games are such like a
Tony Parker
crazy.
on the cover.
Video games are such a crazy form of like media, really. Like it's different from like a movie. Like sometimes the story modes aren't even good, but it's like the overall like the experience of that video game. Like it's
What's your favorite video game like story mode?
The Last of Us, the first one.
The first one? You think the first one better than the second one?
Honestly, I haven't finished the second one yet, so like I'm still saving that for myself. I played the first half of it, and I didn't finish it because I've been streaming, so it's like I don't even have a console anymore to play it.
The second Last of Us game is amazing.
I know it started off pretty
What's
good.
it
But I think
about?
the first one
I
was
don't
so
even know
good.
about it.
So The Last of Us is basically just a zombie game.
Yeah, but it's like
There's a lot going into it, but at
Is
the
it
end of the day,
better?
it's just a zombie.
Is it
It's gonna
better
be
than
on
Left
H-
4 Dead 2?
No, it's the best game ever.
It's
best
the
story
best game
mode.
ever.
It looks so
Left 4
good.
Dead 2 is fun though.
It's
Left
like a
4 Dead's
movie.
fun as shit.
It's like a movie experience.
Yeah,
Like,
they just brought that back. Left 4 Dead. It's called Back 4 Blood.
it's getting an HBO Max show. Last of Us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fire.
No,
And
no,
the
The
main
Last
dude-
of Us is like if you watch me play The Last of Us, bro, like you'd be like, this is a game. Like it's the real deal, dude, for sure.
Oh, is that the game? I feel like I've seen some clips of footage of like there's different choices. Like the game will play out differently based on certain scenarios.
So that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen
That's
at all.
Dying
That's a
Light,
different
game.
maybe.
Dying Light
That would
is
be
like-
Dying Light. 'Cause
Yeah,
things
there's
like
a few
that.
games like that. Like Heavy Rain back in the day was on PS2. That was the first game to do it.
This like The Last of Us is like organically like his game's going to be way different than my game based off the way the game is because it's all stealth and like it's all like in real time.
The story doesn't change, but the way you
go
the
about
combat is just
yeah,
different.
and the combat is fluid. It's sick. It's like cinematic. Even in the combat, like if you go up behind somebody and like slit their throat, like you can like spin the camera around and like watch their like faces and they're making facial expressions like ripping their face.
The
like,
thing with the
it's
video
wild,
games is
dude.
like you don't want it to be like too hard, but you always want the right amount of like tension and like the gameplay to be like decent. And that game is just like perfect.
Like you feel like when you're the main character, like the main character's name is Ellie. Like when you're Ellie, you're killing people. Like you're not just shooting some NPC. Like I feel like I'm actually ending people's lives in that game. Like,
Ending people.
Bro, it's intense. as
That's
shit.
how it is in GTA roleplay.
Bro,
You're
that's-
ending someone's legit life.
But no,
Yeah.
this is like I
they gotta call the ambulance. You're like,
I keep talking about like my hands
You
sweating.
gotta revive me.
But like your hands are sweating, bro. You'll be laying in the grass for legit like 6 minutes. Like I'm scared to leave. If I leave, I'm gonna get popped, bro. Like I can't make a move. Ah. Ah.
And we're
So,
officially on one camera.
So The Last of Us is your favorite story mode.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a great game. It is a really good game. I just didn't
Heavy,
say it.
I'll say Heavy Rain was the most impactful story mode on me. Like after I watched it, the last scene in the Last of Us is a good scene, but Heavy Rain was like the first game. It was
I
on
never played Heavy
PS2
Rain.
still, right? So it was just like a certain like nostalgia probably, but also like it was the first game where you could make decisions, and the ending of the game was different based on what decisions you made, and there were so many different endings, and it was crazy. Like just to get, I watched a playthrough of it before, and then I did my own experience, and it was just insane, dude. Like. That was like a crazy gaming experience.
Do you have
for
like
me.
a favorite? Like obviously, The Last of Us is your favorite story. Do you have a favorite game?
I would say Last of Us probably. Like that's the most fun I have.
I
Playing
feel like you always
games.
ask like someone
As
who like
far
plays,
as fun,
like,
yeah, it sounds
I
like
don't.
that's
I
your
don't treat
favorite game.
competitive online games like the same. You know, like they are what they are. They're fun for their competitive aspect. It's different than like old school gaming kind of.
Yeah. Now tie it all up in a bow. Wrestling games. You like wrestling games?
Yeah, so I seen the one episode you guys had, you were talking about like them old school games, them PS2 games. I played all of them.
With the
dude,
GM mode?
Why were
They
they?
were-
That's
they-
coming back.
better?
Games
on the
were-
next game. I'm hyped for the next game.
I'm kind of hyped for the new game, yo. 22. That comes out soon, don't it?
Yeah, it comes out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Didn't they
If-
bring back the GM mode for
Yes,
this one?
and the fact
Yeah.
that they waited till after Christmas to put it out tells me it has to be good. Because if it was shitty, they would have definitely put it out before
Just
Christmas
dumped
to get
it.
that Christmas money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just dumped it. Right at the holiday because I know everyone's gonna buy it for their
Yeah.
kids. But yeah, like why was like SmackDown Here Comes the Pain and like Shut Your Mouth? Like why were they? I feel like they were just mechanically better games.
So like back then,
THQ made them.
Yeah,
back-
which isn't
back
like a
then it was
renowned
easy.
company by any means.
Back then it was a lot. It's gonna sound crazy. Like it was harder to do more complex things. So you could add a lot more in because of how simplistic it was. When you're rendering all these 3D animations and shit like that,
and the
like,
graphics are amazing now.
yeah, like you need a certain amount of equipment to even run these games. Like you get lost in it.
I just feel like they're too slow and robotic now. Like back in the day, they used to be more like fluid. I don't know. I
the
don't,
physics are fucked up in sports games. Like I think sports games are done. I don't play them anymore. They
MLB
suck.
The Show's the
Madden's
only one
done,
I really
bro.
fuck
Dude,
with.
man, I haven't
online.
bought Madden in 5 years. I used to like playing Madden. I was a little Ultimate Team player and shit
Madden's
like that. But that
done.
sucks. That game.
Bro.
Ultimate Team is pay to win, and Madden Online is like, you want to talk about a rage game.
Yeah.
Some of the shit that happens in Madden Online is so fucking disgusting.
I will never buy Madden ever again.
No.
I will never buy
Think-
Madden ever again.
Think about how many people we play with there in the NFL right now. Back then, I won't even buy Madden to play with those people. Like
Yeah.
I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about that game.
We've been name
Yeah.
dropping heavy on this episode. Now let's get into it.
It's a little flex.
Me and Huncho,
Small
we're on
flex.
a team with Detroit Lions starting running back DeAndre Swift,
Shout out.
newly starting wide receiver on the Atlanta Falcons Olamide Zaccheaus.
Shout out.
John Reed, I believe, is on the Seahawks now. Moved
I think
from
he's
the
in limbo
moved
now
from
right
the
now.
moved from the Texans.
And he was the best out of all of them in
starting
high school, too.
guard on the Packers, John Runyon. Anybody else I'm missing?
I think that's it right now, honestly.
Yeah, that's all
Edward
he's in.
Manor. But yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of people from like one team.
It's the most. It's tied for the most in the NFL from one high school, IMG Academy in Florida.
Has
wow,
Same amount.
that's pretty
They
well.
have the same amount. They're tied for first. Four players in the NFL from one high school.
yeah, and John
Like from one high school
in
class?
high school in
No,
high
it's
school
from-
John
just
was
from
the
high school?
best.
From one high school. Yeah.
Wow.
In high school, John was the best.
I think Reed. Yeah, John
Yeah.
Reed was definitely the best.
Was the best.
And what
Well,
position say?
What? How about
Corner.
Will Fuller? Right? Remember
Cornerback.
John Reed's freshman year? We went and played Will Fuller at Roman or whatever. John Reed was a true ass freshman. He had held Will Fuller to no catches. I think he had
Yeah.
0 catches that day. True freshman, strapping this dude. He was so different. John got hurt.
Will
in
Fuller's on the
college.
Dolphins now, right?
Will Fuller,
Yeah,
kill it again.
John
My
tore his
God.
ACL in college. I just feel like he's never been the same. Like he's so good technically, but I don't think he has that top athleticism anymore. Sucks, dude.
Poor Will Fuller, dude. He's so talented. He's just his hands.
He's another one with
just
injuries,
can't.
dude. Football is
Yeah.
the worst with that shit. With all them injuries you accumulate, your career and lifespan is so short.
I want to go work out at Swift's gym one day. That's in North Philly.
Yeah.
Show him how buff I am.
Yeah.
I heard
Yo.
his dad's like a nut, like a real like.
No,
height,
he's,
like,
he's not a nut.
No, no,
you,
no,
You
like-
probably got the story twisted just a little bit because I could see where that like word terminology
No,
comes
I mean,
from.
he's like real involved.
but he's
like,
oh yeah, he's very involved. with it.
Yeah.
He's always been a huge part of his.
I
Football
mean, like
life.
not like a fanatic, like more like he was really involved with like DeAndre's like
Oh,
playing,
100%.
and coaching,
And he was always helping out the rest of the kids on the
Yeah.
team, too. Because himself, he's jacked out of his mind.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
huge. Like, I would take lifting advice from that guy to this day, to the rest of my life. Like, anything he says, I know it's got some fucking standing behind it.
Yeah.
About all that. Anything athletic, I'd listen to him. But yo, if we're gonna be bringing up that shit, another thing that we talked about in the past on a podcast with DCX. Shout out to the DCX boys.
Shout out
Nick
Weez and
Johnson
Nick.
and
Let's go.
Albertine Slime. You'll be hearing the outro by Slime on the end of this
He
video.
actually texted me before this. He said, "Tell you what's up too."
Yeah,
So,
did he?
Yeah.
My boy.
Yeah,
Good
shout
luck.
out. Nah, for sure. We gotta link up with them again.
On that podcast with you, we talked about a story that you that happened with you. You never told the story. I heard that story from our coach's mouth because
Yeah.
he told what you said. But tonight we are gonna get a first-hand account of the famous New York South 80-yard touchdown by Huncho.
So-
Schmanek at the time.
Yeah. So it was my first camp, right? Like we went through the off-season lifting program or whatever, and I never played football like before, and we were like first scrimmage ever, dead ass, like first training camp ever. I never played football before. I was playing right tackle with the JV team, and I think Ehrlich was playing left tackle or whatever, right? So we get in the game like towards the second half or whatever, and they're running to the left, and we're doing nothing, and Roken calls a timeout. As we're coming
Now
to
you
the-
said this was a varsity scrimmage though.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
not forget you got
Yeah.
in later, but it was a
yeah,
varsity
it was a
scrimmage.
varsity scrimmage. So we get in or whatever, run a couple plays. I guess I was south, so the north or whatever. We get stopped. Roken calls a timeout. He's sick of it. He's like, actually, Sugden comes in front of Roken. He's snapping. Are you going to block anybody? Da 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 da. Roken comes in the huddle. Is somebody going to do something? I said, dude, just run New York South, basically. Like, that's all you have to do. And he was like, all right, bet. Mikey D'Angelo lined up next to me. We double teamed the end, right? I got him all out here like this. I was like, all right, Mikey, you're on your own now. And I got up to the second level, hit the linebacker. Jim Bell comes behind me, like right off my right hip, 75 yards, touchdown. And Infante called it out that night.
Yeah, in film.
In film. And remember, that's the same night we went to bed. And remember, one of the seniors got called on
Yeah.
their phones at 2 a.m. We had to do that fucking 3 a.m. workout.
You got one of the hardest things that there is to get in that era of prep football.
And
You got a
Infante-
compliment from Gabe Infante at Tall Pines. At Tall Pines,
Yo.
you could fucking summon God himself down to the field, and he would say, "Why didn't you get him sooner?"
Yeah.
Like
You're
that's the
talking
type of
Spanish
Tall
right
Pines
now.
would
Listen
be.
to me,
He was
honest-
talking Spanish. He's Cuban.
Listen to me. I gotta. This is how I know.
Shout out.
This is how I know that like I fucked with Infante. Infante.
As
always,
a dude, great dude.
Yeah, he used to give me compliments a lot. Like Infante knew that I was like trying to do whatever, and he would throw me like nice footwork or this. And when I quit, he was kind of sick. Like I could tell a little bit. And like he was like one of the best coaches I had ever had in any sport. He really cared about us too. Like he didn't just give a shit about if we're gonna win a football game. Like if you came to him with something in your personal life that you really needed to talk about, he was understanding. Like he's one of the best dudes around. He's coaching at Temple now, I think too, as like the D coordinator or whatever. But that's one of the
Yeah,
best
he's
dudes around.
positional coach.
Yeah. Connors too. Connors, all of our coaches, honestly, our coaching staff was pretty good with us. I feel like they were nice ass dudes. It wasn't like how you would think a football.
Shit. I mean, they're
football
tied in
team would
the
be.
in the country right now from those kids in the NFL. I mean, it's
but
gotta
a
have
lot
good
of
coaches.
people, a lot
They
of football
all had
coaches,
history themselves. The coaches
Sure.
had
Yeah.
college football
A lot-
history.
a
They
lot
knew
of
what they were
football-
talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of football coaches are just like a different type of personality. I felt like than that staff though. Like we would get chewed
Well,
out
it
if we
was-
deserved to get chewed out. We got chewed out, but it wasn't like a abusive relationship.
But
I
it
felt
all
like.
tied in with that Jesuit mindset that we talked about a little bit before
Yeah.
the podcast.
100%.
Like, it just they were kind of understanding of what the school as a whole was trying to do, so they weren't as dickish, if those are words, as you would.
They held you
As you
accountable.
would type, yeah, as dicky.
It was different. They held you accountable. They weren't just on your ass to be on your ass. Like if they knew that you were slacking off, like they were holding you accountable for yourself. And that's like a big lesson for anybody in life is to hold yourself accountable for anything. That's the only way you could do anything. If you can't be real with yourself, then how are you ever going to grow as a person? I think that was like one of the biggest lessons from football that I learned, honestly.
Yeah. Bro, shit. I even said, I'm glad I finished it out, but I even had mentioned before in the podcast that if I had any type of balls for real back then, I would have quit too.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to do this type of shit, entertainment shit, go down that
Well,
lane.
now I have a
And
story
the
for you.
quicker
You were kinda
get
rapping
started,
simultaneously.
yeah, I was, but imagine if I would have gave
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
to it at that point. I was fucking doing all that, doing
Your videos
shows
used
and
to get
shit.
views and
yeah,
shit.
getting 20,000 views on a video, performing a show at the TLA, and I was fucking going to football practice from 3 to 7 every
And
weekday.
school.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
imagine if I just quit and devoted it. You know, you can't look back and you can't say that anything would have guaranteed happen.
made
But
you- it
all I
made you
can
who you
say
are
is
now, but-
I would
Right.
have more time to devote
Sure.
than I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Well, I have a story for you now that you don't even know. Do you remember when I got a concussion at the end of that season?
Yeah, you
You
were in
know
the
that
dark room and shit.
Yeah, you know that you were the one who gave me the concussion. I didn't even know it in the practice before, but we did that 3-spot shit, right? I think Baker was next to me or
I do
whatever.
think that you told me that though.
So we did the thing where we're blocking the end and
Yeah.
we got to get up to the second level. And as I hit him and I tried to get up to the second level for you, but you were already here and you hit me with the crown right here. And I didn't even think anything of it, right? Like I never had a concussion before. So I went through the whole practice and we had PSATs the next morning. And Infante was my proctor. So I was doing these PSATs and like as I'm going through it, I'm like, dude,
What's my name?
I'm like splitting ass headache. And I go up to Infante and he could tell in my eyes, like, yo, you got to go down to G or whatever and do the concussion test.
He can tell by your eyes?
Yeah, and like,
Yeah, your eyes look
you're-
weird when you got a concussion.
It's like you're confused. Like you really are confused. You're dilated. And like G said, like I scored like one of the worst concussion tests when I first went in there. Like I was out for a while. Like I didn't even go to school for like a month. Like
Instant beef?
Dude, what happened? Maybe. What happened that one time? Because I was involved in another shenanigan with you too, that I can't remember the reason that we did it. But we cut out your senior picture, like 100 of them, and we put them all over the school. Why
I
did we
remember
do that?
I don't. I didn't remember that until you just said
Like
that. But I do remember.
we
that.
had them like we put them in like every locker downstairs. We put them in like clocks in
Nah, yeah, they
classrooms. Like
did.
we would put it like for no. I forget
Was
what
it the whole
reason
picture or
was.
just your head?
No, it was his whole pic. Like,
So, like,
it
you
was
like,
a little
chop, like-
square. We
Yeah.
printed it out on a bunch of papers. Like, so there would be like maybe like 10, 20 times of them on each page. And we cut out each individual one and we're just placing it places.
Yeah, it's like, why, man? Like, what was the reason? You know,
I have no clue. There was
It's so
definitely a
random.
reason to it. There was definitely
Dude,
a reason
The
to
football
it.
team used to break balls. That's
It was
why.
the 80-yard touchdown.
Nah, everybody used to break balls.
Nah,
like,
yeah, but like everybody was cool. Like even when I wasn't playing football, everybody was cool with me when they saw me. So it was like, it was just like it was kind of like a really good group. Honestly, I would say like we had good senior leaders. Like
Yeah.
that season, that
It was definitely a positive experience. in
yeah, like
life.
your sophomore year, my junior
It
year.
sounds
That
like
was a
it.
fun ass year. That was the first year before they went on this dynasty run here.
Yeah, that time in my sophomore year, when in the locker room after that one practice, we all blew each other. That was popping.
Yeah,
I had yous going. Like, it's gonna be some.
Honestly, I believe that you said it. I was like, really? I wish I was on this team.
What a fucking clip that is.
don't
We'll
say
put the whole fucking thing, like everything we just said, bigging up the team, and then end it on that, right?
Huncho wants his face blurred on that clip.
blur me out. The prep is gonna come for us soon.
So we're winding down here. Probably got a few more minutes left. Let's talk about what upcoming content you got coming
Yeah.
besides the stream shit, because you said you're gonna be making more shit, more different types of
Yeah,
shit.
so I want to like kind of I announced this podcast and it's crazy because you announce something right and then like the person I'm doing it with, the other host, he has somebody in his family who's like ill that week. Then he has COVID for another week. Then his girl has it the next week. So then I have somebody pass away. Then I have COVID. You know what I'm
It's an
saying? So it's
onslaught.
Exactly. So like we're trying to get it going. Like we already have the equipment going. He has like a floating studio in his basement. Like it's basically we just have to get together. Yeah,
Floating.
Yeah, he used to be like he used to spin records as Fearmongers. His name was. He has our song that was supposed to be the intro song is a song he did with Le'Veon Bell. He's the producer of that song. And it's like.
But I don't
something
know
with
why
moves.
floating. What's floating mean?
Like a floating, okay, so a floating studio, right, is like the wall, it's wall and then a wall, like stacked on a wall, and it's like soundproofing, basically. So that's what a floating studio is.
Okay.
It's one of the ways you can soundproof in your house.
Yeah, I understand.
Shout out Le'Veon Bell. I got the juice. Good song.
What do you think? I don't know that song, but what do you think is a better song, that or Antonio Brown, Whole Lot of Money?
Juice.
Do you know both songs?
Le'Veon Bell.
I don't think I know Le'Veon, but I know AB's.
Yo,
I'm just going to assume that Le'Veon's is better.
to be, I gotta be honest. That AB song has grown on me. It's one of them songs when I first watched it, I was like, ooh, he shouldn't rap. But a year later, 2 years later, however long later it is, I will find myself going, I got a whole lot of money. Got a whole lot of money. It's good, bro. It's catchy.
It is catchy. Nah. Le'Veon, I mean, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's definitely better than what AB did.
You think him walking off the field is going to create bigger stardom for him in the long run?
Dude, that dude is already, like, world-renowned superstar.
See, because he's doing what you're talking about with the streaming shit. He's realizing, like,
I got all this clout.
I'm out here playing football with
Yeah.
all this clout. Like, I'm out here risking my
either
brain,
one of you
risking
see-
my body with all this clout. I could go be a way bigger star at way less
Did
risk.
you guys see that video? It was like Kanye, Madonna,
Julia Fox.
Julia Fox. Is that real?
Yeah.
They look fake, bro. They look like wax figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would they be
something-
hanging out like that group?
Something's
It's
so
wild.
wrong, but I cannot tell how it's real, like how it's not real though. You know what I mean? Like,
You would think like people Photoshop people.
Honestly, bro, with this new technology coming out, I feel like there's cameras that literally make shit look better than what you see on a daily basis with your eyes. So that like some footage looks
like Julia
fake because
Fox
of that.
sitting on Kanye's lap, and like Madonna like hugging the person next to them, and then like Antonio Brown. But like it's just it's so random, and the celebrities are so like A-list.
Scattered, and they're scattered.
But not only like, I don't want to say it's so random that they're hanging out together, because who knows what goes on at these Hollywood parties, right? You really don't know. But why would they be hanging out together? Why is Antonio Brown hanging out with Madonna?
The
and
reason they're
Kanye?
hanging out together is for someone to take that video and post it. That is.
That's
Yeah.
so
That's
weird.
literally it.
And who else is there? Somebody else is there.
I don't know the
Sit
other
next to
person.
Antonio
It's another
Brown.
famous person, but I don't know his
Yeah.
name.
Seriously, the reason that they made
Any
that
bull.
video.
So we talked about Le'Veon Bell. I got so off topic.
Yeah, we
already.
got off track on
what
what
would
your
you do if
fucking
you saw that
upcoming
clip, right?
topics
You saw the thing panning out. It was Kanye and Julia Fox. It was Madonna hugging. It was Antonio Brown, and you saw me at the end, just like sparking the blood. just like cool. And
You gotta Photoshop yourself and post it on like the No Limit. No Limit.
It's tough, yeah.
That is a good one.
But
That is
other than
fire.
that, obviously, I'm involved with DCX. They were on here. They talked about some of the stuff we're doing. Nikki J's actually making a big move out to Vegas.
I saw that.
He got a job out
Shout
in Vegas
him.
as like a
Damn! Shout out!
a
Congrats.
graphic designer for one of the dispensaries out there. So he's doing his own thing. So like that's something we're gonna try and explore. You know, he's gonna work out there. We're gonna try and do some things over here.
He moved there.
Yeah, he's moving there.
That's crazy.
He's gonna be back
He's
and forth.
living
He's
my
gonna be-
fucking dream. Moving
He's gonna
to
be back
Vegas.
and forth or whatever.
It's
It's kind
no
of like
limit one day. What?
yeah, he's like a test running
I'll
it
go
right
tomorrow.
now. He's test running it, dude. That's what I said. So like that's how I want to look at. I want to kind of like this next year, kind of like deliver on some content or whatever. Be involved
Vegas
with
is
DCX.
fire, bro. Vegas is a
Dude,
fire
it's
location.
the-
You
it's
get
a-
a lot of land for cheap.
If you're on the outskirts of like the main part, you're chilling, dude.
And it's such a like what I said about the times I visited there. When you wake up in the morning, like there is no doubt in your mind that the sun is out.
Yeah.
365 days a year, when you wake up in the
Yeah.
morning, there is not a cloud in the sky and the sun's out.
Think about outside
every
right
single
now.
day.
Outside right now is like what, 16 degrees? Like what are we?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
You're gonna have 60 plus for the rest of your life.
Bro, you go outside and it literally like hurts. Like it hurts. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, you get in the car. I get in the car and I just want to go.
But just for content creation too, like besides LA, really like Vegas is really popping for content creators. Like
It's right there.
Florida's
2.5
good for
hour drive.
gamers because like the internet, and Texas is good for the internet. But like if you want to create content, like being in Vegas, just being in them type of circles that you're gonna be in and shit like that, collaborating, which is the biggest part of any content creation. So it's like that's like a big thing. So we got to start doing more shit for DCX kind of too. At the same time, Weez has still got work he's doing right now with all his music. So just keep doing shit with DCX, keep going on YouTube, keep streaming video games, talk about sports, talk about Marvel,
Consistency.
all that
We talk
shit.
about that all the we talk
Yeah.
about that consistently.
Before we wrap it up, do you want to like
Consistency.
plug your Twitch channels and stuff too?
It's everything's Huncho Myers.
Everything's Huncho
or
Myers.
Dylan Schmanik on
Now let
social
them know,
media.
because this is a question that's been dinging in my head. Myers is spelled Myers
Yeah,
or
there's
with
no
the
space,
first E?
no spaces. Huncho, HUNCHOMYERS.
Copla hoodie,
And
copla shirt.
there's a fun story behind that. Yeah, right. Or this one.
Nah,
right
this
here.
one right here.
The Huncho Myers,
go.
and then on the back.
Yeah, fresh boy.
So it's pretty
Mikey.
fresh.
Mikey Mike.
Shout out Nikki Johnson. He did that. We actually, that's a real picture of me on the back of that.
Oh, is it
Let me
really?
see. Turn around to me. Oh, that's fire.
So we put it as a cartoon too. I'll do it for them too.
Yeah.
So we took a real life video with me in a Myers mask, which is actually Jet Mole's mask, and we put the video on.
I know you're Myers, bro. He was lying.
So we put the picture on Photoshop, and Nick Johnson just started to go to work. He was like, "Look, we're gonna make." We took like the art concept after like the '77 poster, like that first Halloween movie.
Yeah.
That poster, and we just did it ourselves so that we didn't have to deal with no copyright shit. And he just made it like a fucking cartoon, and it was dope. Honestly,
awesome.
It came out sick.
Shout out
So
Nick
that's
Johnson.
that's on my website, HunchoMyers.com. Like everything is either Dylan Schmanik or Huncho Myers. Like if you look up either one, you'll find all my accounts on social media. Basically, like I got two different.
And if you
ones for
look
each.
up New York South and go to the third page,
I
you'll
wish
be there.
it's probably on Huddle somewhere. It's on the cloud in Huddle somewhere.
Yeah,
If
it
you walk
definitely
down
is
the
out
if
there.
you walk down the halls of St. Joe's Prep, you might find one of his senior pro portraits in a clock somewhere.
Yeah.
In the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right, guys. Well, shout out to our man Huncho. That's been it. No Limit
That was fun.
Podcast, episode 62. Oh my God, we're getting up there, dude.
100 soon.
Now we're gonna start making up fake numbers going backwards. We're just gonna
Yeah.
be like episode 50.
Nah, no,
You,
we
should,
should,
you gotta have like a time.
no
like on a
limit. We
TV
should just
show.
be like episode 1062, and people will be like, "Damn, they've been at this shit for a minute. I'm about to tune in. What are they doing?"
No, people do that. Though.
Yeah, but yo, this is the
They
1000th
put-
episode
they'll be
of
like
this?
1062, and it's like only the last three
It's
numbers.
it's
Yeah.
only 62. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Well, season 3 is going on forever.
Yeah.
That's
Hell
what we
yeah.
said.
Never
We've
gonna
done
end.
2 seasons. Now we're on the never-ending season 3.
Season 3,
Yeah.
endless.
All right. So now that we drove that in your head for the 56th time, that's been it for the No Limit Podcast, episode 62. Shout out to our boy Huncho. Check him out on everything, Twitch especially. Look out for that GTA RP coming soon. Peace.
Love you.